Hey, Dave Ryder here from BreakthroughMindsets.com, and today we're going to talk about stress relief techniques and what they don't want you to know about stress. And this is the fourth video in a series of 5. Our habits make us easy targets, and in America, the land of freedom for all of us, a lot of companies take advantage of what we're doing to ourselves. But before we start, if you haven't seen parts 1, 2, or 3 yet, make sure to do that so this content makes sense. And nothing starts the healing process of making a positive change like learning a tool that will put you in control again, being responsible for what you produce and what you experience in your life, and then knowing that you can make a bigger difference in the world and your life starting today. Consider for a moment how much money is made in the economy from stress symptoms alone that we produce. It's absolutely staggering. It's not just insurance companies and the big drug dealing companies. We're talking billions and billions of hard-earned dollars going right into the pockets of all kinds of big industries, all because of what we do or don't do to ourselves on a daily basis. It's not their fault, it's our choice. I want to give you some ideas to think about regarding how we get so caught up in it all and what drives us to compulsively seek relief outside of ourselves and give our resources away for this relief, even though it's only temporary, and then repeat the pattern over and over again without ever solving the problem. If there's a way to mood alter negative emotional states and stress and feelings and make a profit, guaranteed you're going to find plenty of products that people are willing to spend their money on. And that will continue to be the case despite this video. This is for you if you're wanting a better way to break through this pattern and take back your power from all the stress and all the symptoms that stress creates. We create a lot of stress and emotions when we feel stuck and give our power, trust, and attention away to things that are not going to solve our problems. Don't worry, everything that we're going to cover, we can change. The way that most people have been conditioned to cope with stress drives massive profits in our economy. And that's not what this video is about, but it's important to be aware of. Coping with stress is a learned behavior, and it's being modeled for us in our families, our workplace, the schools, and in the media all the time. But buying into this, or buying into the ways that we cope with stress, is making this country poor, fat, stupid, and lazy. All right, so start to notice where you've been giving your control away, or looking outside of yourself for relief. When you feel stressed, don't just go for the snacks or the drinks or the entertainment. Regulate yourself. Release your stress and emotions. Then eat, drink, and entertain for the right reasons. Eat, drink, and entertain responsibly. People that get in the habit of spending their money on quick fix, knee-jerk shopping, Facebook, eating, binge Netflix watching, drinking, or smoking create even more stress because they create need liabilities instead of assets fulfilling our own needs. But it's not all bad. Being a good consumer, we've learned how to make better decisions and choices along the way. We know what we like and what we dislike. We've built up our muscles, and at the same time we've learned to become stronger in other ways. We just need to snap ourselves out of the trance and break the cycle and get back in control of our lives again. This is what happens when we value self-regulation and self-control over anesthetizing our emotions and stress. So where do you find relief? What is your go-to for coping with stress? What do you use to escape? Do you support the wine and grape industry? Do you invest in Ben & Jerry's? Do you like to donate to Nordstrom's on a regular basis? Do you cope by trolling on Facebook just to avoid feeling what's inside? Well, don't worry if you've answered yes to any of these questions. We've all done it. It's not a big deal as long as you do something about it. You just need to ask yourself this one question before you do that. Am I doing this to mood alter my emotions? If the answer is no, then go ahead. But if the answer is yes, then you'll want to break that habit. There's nothing wrong with any of those behaviors if you're doing them for the right reasons. But when you rely on something outside of yourself to feel better, that's when you give your power away. It can become a bad habit. And it all comes down to your own belief system. We call that BS for short. Biologically, what happens in the body is the body gets chemically addicted to both the stress that we produce on a regular basis and the temporary relief that we get from what we use to control our moods. That's shopping or sex or movies, games, food, that kind of thing. It's kind of like a self-perpetuating reward system for suppressing stress and emotions. And we get stressed out, we feel bad, we look for relief, we act out, bury our stress even deeper, and then we feel worse. With chronic stress, the body biologically and physically gets addicted to the chemicals that we produce when we're stressed. Every cell in the body starts off with receptor sites for vitamins and nutrient absorption. With chronic stress, these receptor sites begin to be replaced with receptor sites for those chronic stress hormones. Eventually, as a cell duplicates or replicates, there's not enough cell receptor sites for life-giving, energy-producing vitamins and nutrients that we need to thrive on, and more receptor sites for the stress chemicals that we've conditioned our bodies to adapt to as a result of producing these harmful chemicals on a regular basis. At this point, it doesn't matter how good our diet is or how much we exercise, because we don't have enough healthy receptors for vitamins and nutrient absorption when we eat. All that money that we spend on healthy organic foods and vitamins goes right down the tube, so to speak. Then those very receptors begin to signal the brain to produce more stress hormones when we aren't producing enough stress. Yeah, that sounds crazy, I know, but that's how it works. Cells that rely on stress hormones to function will trigger the body to crave and create more stress. Now on the other hand, or on the other side, we produce intoxicating chemicals like dopamine and endorphins when we experience that relief, that quick fix, right? And that's the chemical junk food that we use to cope. Every time, it's like getting a little shot of heroin. The same thing happens to our receptors when we crave the chemical dope our body creates or releases from these instant gratification behaviors. So our bodies will keep the cycle going, driving our craving behaviors automatically so we don't go through withdrawals. For some, it can be an entire day of a never-ending, constant stream of going from one addictive, instant gratification behavior to the next. Can you see how this cycle can perpetuate stress and stress chemicals in the body? So what we do or don't do with our diet and nutrition can cause physical stress. Now, every positive and negative thought that we have, picture in our mind, the words that we speak, produces chemicals in the body as well. And these in turn send a message to our entire body that starts a cause and effect chain reaction. It can be felt physically, feelings. When we go for the quick fix behaviors because of a negative thought, it can become a habit. Then the brain will link that temporary relief feeling with the negative thought or image. And then we condition our own brain to think it's a good thing. It's a built-in reward system. We think a negative thought, we feel stressed out, we go for the quick fix and reward ourselves with sugar, entertainment, drugs, shopping, or some other kind of quick fix pleasure. You can't blame yourself or your parents. If your parents knew about stress and how they created it, they wouldn't have done it, and you wouldn't be here now. None of us were taught this information like this growing up. We didn't know any better, and we were led to believe that stress came from other people and other situations outside of us that were beyond our control, and that's why it never worked. Just like the pharmaceutical companies lead depressed people to believe that depression is a Prozac deficiency. There are no billion-dollar pharmaceutical drug dealer companies out there that want you to stop taking their drugs. They won't force you to control your stress because you'd make better decisions, and you wouldn't need to get by, and you'd stop wasting your money on junk stuff to anesthetize yourself and your symptoms. It's time to take back control and take care of yourself in a better way. Alright, so here's a quick review of what we've covered so far in this series. Negative emotional stress can come from your reactions to your own thoughts, but it's not the actual thoughts that create the stress. It's your reaction. Your perception comes from what you've chosen to believe to be true, even though it's not real. Your perception is your personal version of reality. It's just not the real reality. Just like thinking about a rock, that thought of the rock is not the rock. It's your perception about something. It's not the thing that you're thinking about. All right? So stress doesn't exist outside of us. It's not something we get. It is internally created. It's an inside job. It's something you do. You have to learn how to produce stress successfully. Stress is not something you have, it's something you do. We become physically and biologically addicted to chemicals that we produce with negative emotional stress. Our relief-seeking rituals and also the temporary relief. Those are the things we get addicted to. We reward ourselves then for getting stressed out inadvertently, and we condition our minds to recreate it automatically for the reward, and we avoid the pain of stress. We condition our mindsets to accept negative emotional stress at high levels to be normal and familiar, and the absence of stress to be abnormal. When something feels off, if you aren't feeling stress, that's a biological addiction. For example, just sitting around and being and not doing anything. If you just sit around doing nothing, stresses you out, or when you think that you aren't being productive, that means that your body is craving stress hormones from chronic stress conditioning. So take a nice big deep breath and repeat after me. It's all okay. Nothing is lost. Nothing's been wasted. I learned a lot of good things, some good skills. I'm going to miss that old stress. Now it's time to move on. All right, now let's boost your awareness about some ways that you may be creating stress in your life that they don't want you to know about. Now, many of these you can change by just being aware of them. Others, you may need a mindset power tool to break the habit, which I'll get into in our last video in this series, which is our next one. What you're about to learn is more information about yourself that you can use to change your life, your family, and your business for the better. In a minute, you're going to know more about how you create stress than most experts do in the industry. All right, so here we go. Now remember, this is not negative, this is positive, because before you can solve a problem, you have to know what the problem is. And if you do any of what I'm about to cover, great! Now you know, and now you can do something about it. And then I'm going to show you some stress relief techniques and a mindset power tool that you can use to eliminate the silent killer permanently. There are many ways to produce negative emotional stress, and here are a few common favorite ways people like to create stress with, and that you might not be aware of yet. So if you want to create stress, this is how. You'll want to do more of these. All right, so allowing bad habits of the mind to get in the way of your success. Entertaining negative thoughts, pictures, words, movies, images, negative self-talk, and the inner critic. One of my clients said to me the other day, I've been letting my mom live inside my head for the past 20 years rent-free. Well, it wasn't really her mom. But anyways, here's the next one. The next one is automatically recreating your thoughts before realizing that they're just thoughts that you're reacting to. Having a compulsive need to know or to be right or to be perfect more than a few minutes. Being triggered by a situation or people and automatically knee-jerk reacting and never addressing the trigger or the emotional reactions. Then focusing on controlling or expecting the outside world to change instead, so you don't have to feel bad or do anything. Insisting on controlling the uncontrollable and never distinguishing the difference. Painful. Chronically not getting your needs met and hoping everything will work out and that you'll get around to it or somebody will. Embracing a distorted perception as reality, causing learned helplessness. For example, pretending that everything or somebody is all bad. Blaming others, making excuses, or saying yes when you mean to say no, just to keep yourself feeling safe. Expecting things to be different when they're not, and then not doing anything about it. Choosing to believe something to be true that isn't. Living a fantasy. There's love in that food. For example, I love cheese. There's no love in cheese. Not understanding or leveraging the principles of human values and behavior and universal principles and laws. Suppressing your true potential for greatness, to create value and to make a bigger difference in the world. Just settle with the way things are. A lack of having a meaningful life, purpose, and a purposeful direction that you love. Having the right answer to the wrong problem and expecting better results. How about having the wrong answer to the right problem and expecting better results? And finally, letting traumatic stressful experiences from the past interfere with your present and future. Look, at Breakthrough Mindsets, we want to show you how to change your mind about these things and put you back in control of your life. And to help you get started, make sure you watch the next video in this series, Stress Relief Techniques, Part 5, How to Stop the Silent Killer Permanently. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.